Hello and welcome to Prudent IAS, one-stop solution for all the competitive exams. We are back with another interesting video. Today, our topic will be from General Studies Paper 1, Art and Culture section. And the approach for this video will be the same like all our previous videos. We'll choose one topic, do some discussion over the topic, and then we'll face a model question as well as a sample model answer for you, where I'll be telling you the do's and don'ts of answer writing. So most of you must be aware which question we are going to tackle today, but all those who are unaware about it, you must join our group Answer Writing by Prudent IAS on Telegram. There we send all these questions in a day advance, so you can send us your answers, do some peer-to-peer interaction. You can also access others' answers. Also, we'll be doing one daily free evaluation. So without wasting time, let's begin with the topic. The topic for the day is Temple Architecture in India. Very important topic from Art and Culture section. So, temples serve as the spiritual as well as cultural landmarks. Indian temples serve both the purpose of spiritual and cultural landmarks. But from where this concept originated, it traces back to Indus Valley civilization. Although in Indus Valley civilization, there was no such mentioning of temples or such religious centers, but the people of Indus Valley used to worship nature. You must be aware about nature worshipping of these people in the Indus Valley civilization. So out of fear, maybe because of natural disasters or whatsoever maybe, they worshipped nature. Later, this converted into deity worship, that is idol worship. And for worshipping these deity, there was a requirement of religious centers, dedicated spaces where people could go and worship all these gods and goddesses. So then came the concept of temples. By the 7th century, distinct regional architectural styles emerged across the subcontinent. Each style reflects local tradition and spiritual practices. So, India, being so diverse, has various types of temple architecture, but out of these types, there are 3 major types and then there are various subtypes. Today, we will be looking at the topic from the questions perspective, not as the topic as a whole. So, I'll be giving you some brief content about the topic. The first type is Northern Indian style, that is Nagar style temple architecture. Now, if you can look at this picture, first let's just understand the basics of temples. If you can see this part, this is called as Shikhar. This part, the low-lying part, is Mandap. Now, under this area, that is Shikhar, the main idol is present. So, this part is also known as, this complete part is also known as Garbhagriha. If I'll break this word for you, Garb means womb and Griha means home. So this is the most sacred part of the temple because the idol is established under Shikhar. In Mandap, there is presence of Vahan. Now in Indian Hindu mythology, it is often assumed that each god and goddesses has their own dedicated Vahan. For example, mouse for Ganeshji. So this Vahan is kept in the Mandap. So easily 2 parts Shikhar above the Garbhagriha and Mandap is where Vahan is present. Now, this Mandap is usually covered, that is, it is usually sheltered. Why so? Because when the devotees are coming to worship the gods, they'll come and enter from here. So, this entrance part till the Garbhagriha part, this is covered. This is a hall-like structure. So, the devotees can assemble here, they can sit here, and then they can move towards the Garbhagriha. So this is the basic of temple architecture. Now what is Shikhar in the North Indian style? It is Viman in South India. There are some structural differences as well, which we'll be looking in the upcoming slides, but basically this is the difference. Now let's look at each style in some depth. So for Nagar style of architecture, what's the geographical spread? Majorly north, center and eastern India. So this north, center and this eastern India portion. This is the major geographical spread of the northern temples. Though there are very sub-styles as well, which we'll be discussing. So what are the key features? As already mentioned, this is Shikhar, which is a curvy linear structure. That means it is not straight, but it is curved and it is an uprising structure. In the Shikhar, above Shikhar, you can find such a structure. What is this? A stone made amalka. And above it, there is Kalash. Concept of Kalash, which we know. So, this is Shikhar. What is important in northern style is there is no boundaries. So if you see this temple, it is just in between the forest. There are no extensive boundaries in this temple, which is common feature of the southern temple. Next up, this temple is built on a raised platform. So as you can see over here is, you will climb all these stairs to reach the mandap and ultimately the Garbhagriha. Now this is called as Jagati. The entrance, the high raised entrance of the temple. Often there can be single shikhar, but later what happened was multiple shikhars. For example, 1, 2, 3, multiple shikhars in a clustered formation like Rekha Prasad and Pamsana types. So what are the sub-styles? From this, there a lot of sub-styles also emerged, which were specific to each region. For example, Odisha school, Khajuraho school, Solanki style and the dynasties. See, whenever you are studying temple architecture, what all you need to keep in mind is first the basics. That understand the concept. Just visualize a temple which you have been visited or some image and then understand the concept. Then the key features, geographical spread. What are the sub-styles that emerge from these? Because if any question from the sub-style will emerge, then you can easily relate, okay, to the subtype of northern, then there must be some similarities. And then you need to know about the notable dynasties under which these temples flourished. So the northern temples flourished under the Gurjara, Pratihara, Chandela and mainly Chandelas and the Gurjaras. So next up we have the southern Indian type, that is the Dravid style of temple architecture. Also, one very important point, whenever you are studying any temple, always or the subtype, you must have at least one example on hand. For example, the Odisha school, the most famous Lingaraj temple, Konark Sun temple. Examples are most important in art and culture. So for southern India, the most famous example is Meenakshi temple, Madurai, Brihadeshwara temple, Thanjavur, which was built by Rajaraj Chola while studying the Chola dynasty. Rajaraj Chola won. So in the Dravid style, what is the geographical spread? Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, majorly the southern portion of India. What are the key features? As I already mentioned, like Shikhar, there is a Viman, which is, Shikhar was curvy linear, right? Shikhar was a curvy linear rising structure, but Viman is a pyramid-like structure, that is multiple story-like, right? As you can see here, multiple story-like structure, which is a pyramidal tower. over the sanctum sanctorum, that is the Garbhagriha. Then what is a very important feature of southern temples? The presence of gopuras. So if this is the main temple, then there will be extensive boundaries, right? And there will be main entrance gates known as, which will, sometimes these gopurams are even 2 to 3 times taller than the Viman itself. Imagine the magnificent height of these gopurams. So these gopurams are the elaborate entrances which dominate the complex. So this is the major complex. 2 distinguishing features: Shikhar is known as Viman, presence of boundary which is absent in northern style, and presence of gopurams. Gopurams can be even taller. For example, if this is a Viman, then gopurams are even taller. Okay, just for reference. Next up, presence of prakar, that is enclosure walls. As already mentioned, the boundaries, the mandap, the pillared halls. So mandaps here have pillared halls. And pushkarni, which is another very important feature of the southern temples, that if you will look at the temple structure, then first it might be even hexagonal or octa, and there will be the presence of a water body inside the temple complex. This water body or the temple tank is often known as the pushkarni. So the basic features, very easy to understand if you will memorize and visualize this concept. Temples are usually built of granite and sandstone. Examples, as I already mentioned: Brihadeshwara temple, Meenakshi temple, Rameshwaram temple, which is often known for its long corridors. Then the notable dynasties: Pallavas, Cholas, Pandyas, Nayakas, all the dynasties which dominated the southern region: Pallavas, Cholas and Pandyas. Next up, another important style is Vesara style of architecture, which is a hybrid. It is hybrid of the earlier two, which is northern and the southern. Blending of northern and southern elements in Karnataka. So the geographical spread includes Karnataka, of course, some parts of Maharashtra and Telangana as well. Now, just look at this picture. What all you can see by looking at the picture. First, it is not on a very high rising platform as it was present in the northern temples. There is no Jagati, but a very low lying structure, right? The height of Shikhar is not too tall, but a low lying Shikhar. Next, what is very important is the platform on which this temple is made is often star shaped, right? So it combines the features of both Nagar and Dravid styles. What are the key features? As I mentioned, star shaped platforms, as you can already see in this. Low ornate towers, that are shikhar. Two important features: that the shikhars are lower, the height is lesser as compared to northern temples, but they are very, very intricately designed, more intricate than in the northern temples. Detailed sculpture and polished stonework, very intricate stonework, sculpture work in the Vesara style. So some examples: the dynasty under which it flourished was Hoysala majorly. So Chanakeswar temple, Belur, Durga temple, Ehol under Chalukyas. The notable dynasties: Chalukyas, Rashtrakutas and Hoysal. So I hope the major three styles, that is Nagar, Dravid and Vesara style of temple architecture, is clear to you now. We have just done in brief analysis, but this is important for the question which we are going to answer today. Now, how can you memorize all these points? Just make a comparison table. First, just understand the concepts. You can make a comparison table and just keep on adding all the points. First, we'll check the feature, that is the parameter. We'll write that For example, the tower or shikhar. In Nagar style, it was curvy linear as already mentioned. In Dravid, it is pyramidal, that is Viman. In Vesara, it can be hybrid or a low tower. The entry gate, usually there is no entry gate in the Nagar, but in the Dravid, as already mentioned, very, very huge gopurams are present. Intricate work is done in the gopurams as well. Small gopurams, if any. So, in the entrance, I'll add, in Nagar style, what we usually see at the entrance, the sculptures, the idols present are usually Yaksh, Yakshini, or the river goddesses, right? But in the Dravid style, there is the presence of Dwarpal. Right? So moving up, mandapas, as already discussed, the places where the devotees assemble before the entrance from the entrance gate to the Garbhagriha. In Nagar, they are few and small. There might be just one or two mandapa, but in Dravid, there are multiple spacious mandapas. In Vesara, mandapas can be less, but they are very, very intricately carved. The carving, the sculpture work can be best seen in the Vesara style of architecture. The material, again, Nagar, sandstone and granite. In Dravid, mostly granite and Puritic schist or soapstone in the Vesara. Sculpture, it is elaborate in Northern, but it is very intricate and decorative in the Vesara. And in the Dravid, it is usually, the emphasis is usually on the size. There are huge gopurams, right? The temple is also spread across extensive area, presence of hexagonal, octagonal structures, water tank, etc. So the basic differences, I hope, is clear. Now let's move to the very important section of our lecture, that is the model question for the day. Compare and contrast the Nagar, Dravid and Vesara styles of temple architecture. A very simple question, but look at the directive word, that is compare and contrast. Now, when I was telling you about the directive words, compare means you need to write about the similarities as well as the dissimilarities, but because contrast is present here, contrast will focus only on the dissimilarities. So what we'll do, we'll use a comparative structure, but we'll focus on the differences. So if you have not seen the directive word, mastering the directive word video, you can just go back and have a look at it. I'm sure it will help you. Also, I want you to just pause this video right now. It's a very simple question. It will hardly take 10 minutes. Just write down a sample answer yourself. What you can do is, when I'll be discussing the answer in the upcoming slide, either you can just do some self-evaluation or you can send us your answers in the Telegram group, Answer Writing by Prudent IAS. Let's move to the model answer. Before that, I always try to bring something extra to each video. So this time, what is the demand, what the question is trying to test from an examiner's perspective. First, of course, the conceptual understanding, which is very, very important, because if there is no conceptual understanding, then you won't be having hold on the key terms. Key terms, again, for each subject, for each topic, there are certain terminologies, certain keywords. For example, here in the temple architecture, Shikhar, Viman, Gopuram, Mandap, etc., Jagati, they are all the key terms for temples, which is very important for conceptual understanding. Next, the ability to analyze the similarities as well as the differences, and then the use of examples. Very, very, very important. Without example, the answer holds no value. If you need to get good marks, always add the examples. Also, you can add some basic diagrams as well. They need not to be very intricate like the temples, but just basic, for basic understanding, like the boundary wall is present. For example, if this is a temple, you can just make any structure, but it needs to be clear. Right? The boundary wall is present, gopurams are present or not, etc. Let's begin with the model answer. As I always say, structure your answer in the intro, body, conclusion method. Start with the introduction. Always start with the introduction. It is very important to give some insights about the topic. So India's temple architecture evolved into 3 principal styles. Now, what's important over here is you are not going to write it in points. The point-wise structure can be done in the body of the answer, but not in intro. You are mentioning the styles, but write in paragraph form only. Nagar, North India, Dravid, South India, and the Vesala Deccan style. Each shaped by regional influences, material, and patronage. A very simple, concise introduction. Now, the body of the answer, as I already mentioned, looking at the keyword, the directive word, which was compare and contrast. So what we are going to do, this will save the word limit. This will even address the question. This will look neat, presentable, and efficient structure, I would say. So first you will write this. These are the structural headings. This you need not to write in the answer. This is just for your understanding. So skip these and just come to this major heading. Now this heading needs to be self-explanatory. Highlight this heading by underlining it, drawing a box over it, or using the capital letters. Comparison of Nagar, Dravid, and Vesala types of temples. So this is write this in question language so that the demand is clearly addressed. Then you will draw a comparative chart where you will write all the parameters. As I have already discussed, we have done brief discussion on this chart as well. So I am just focusing on the structural part over here. Just write the parameters, Nagar style, Dravid style, Vesala style. What is very important is add the examples for each. Right? Use alphanumeric digits to number these points. Alphanumeric, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, or A, B, C, D. Both are fine. This is the body of answer. Curvilinear, pyramid, hybrid. I'm not going to repeat these. It will just waste your time. But just know about the structure. Usually I ask students to write in a subheading, heading, point format, but always make sure that first you are reading the directive word and accordingly you are structurizing your answer. Sometimes what happens, you have a lot of content, but the word limit is very limited. So then you can use flowcharts as well. Today, the comparative structure, fine. The most important part of any answer, you must be wondering why I always focus so much on these trivial details. Trust me, students, when I evaluate the copies, then these are the mistakes which students are committing, which is refraining them for fetching good marks. Some of you must be aware of all these things, but there are most of the students who are missing out these points. Conclusion, never omit this conclusion. Do not write this heading. This is just for your understanding. Skip heading to conclusion, save word limit, and just write a summarizing, brief, concise conclusion ending on a very positive note. For example, these architectural styles showcase regional preferences, available materials, and dynastic influence. Collectively, they represent the India's rich architectural heritage. Very concise, summarizing conclusion. You can rephrase it in your own words. It's not important to use very typical language, use simple language, but just summarize your answer. Do not leave it open-ended. So that's it for today. I hope the topic is pretty much clear to you all. If you want any specific topic to be discussed, you can write in the comment section below. Till then, subscribe our channel Prudent IAS and join our Telegram group, Answer Writing by Prudent IAS. The link of this Telegram group will be given in the description box below. Thanks for watching.